So hello everyone, my name is Gonzalo Cordero, and I'm here to talk to you today about YUI mobile development. So before I go, I want to get a sense, how many of you are familiar with YUI? Cool. How many of you are familiar with any of the YUI mobile features? Cool, even better. So hopefully you'll learn something today. So what I'm gonna be covering is I'm gonna talk about some of the stuff you can start using today in order to create killer mobile apps using YUI. I'm gonna show a little peek into what's coming into the future, and as well as I'll show you a couple of cool demos as well too. So a couple of statements. First, YUI philosophy in this mobile environment is that we think that you should not be having to write your code depending on which device you're deploying to. We believe that you should write it once, and that code should just work across all your different devices. And the second thing I would like to say is that everything that you need to create a killer mobile app, it's already out there using YUI. So there's nothing stopping you from creating really good experiences on your mobile applications, and I'll show a couple of examples as well. So some of the features that you might want to be using when you're designing your mobile applications are some of these guys right here. So the loader, for those of you who are not familiar with what the loader is on YUI, basically what it does is just it loads to your page whatever modules you need and on demand as you need them. Not only that, but the loader, it's so cool and so sophisticated that it will know which device you're deploying to, and depending on what you are, it will just give you the set of files and modules that you need just for that. So what this means to you is let's say that you on your code have the node component of YUI. So if you deploy this app on the desktop, then it will give you all the desktop necessary stuff that you need in order to work. But if you were gonna deploy your app on a mobile device, it will know that it's a mobile device, and it will always serve you the node specific stuff that applies to that device. So again, it's really cool stuff that you can do, and it's actually it's about to get way better, because we're gonna be introducing soon YLS. So YLS is something that we're very excited about, which is we're taking back the loader back from the client to the server. And so basically what that it's gonna do is all the dependency calculation is gonna happen now on the server, which means we're gonna it's gonna be way faster. It's using Node.js, and we also have this cache layer on top of that, where basically if you request a module that someone else has requested before, it will serve from the cache. So it's gonna be extremely fast, and we think you're gonna love it, and so keep an eye for that on 3.4 YLS. All right, so let me just talk about the modules, some of the widgets that I think apply for mobile a little bit. The first one I'm gonna talk about is transition. So the transition module, basically what it does is it will let you define some sort of visual representation or behavior when you move from point A to point B, or when you move an element from one state to the other. Say let's say you swipe or you flick, and then you want to navigate to the next page, and you want to show some sort of feedback to the user that you're navigating. So transition module will do that for you. Again, it will do all the cross-browser stuff, and if hardware acceleration is there, it will use it. So what this means to you is instead of having to do something like this, where you're gonna have to manually set all these different properties for all your transition, then you can just easily apply all of these into the node itself that you wish to transition from. So again, much simpler, much cleaner. You specify the duration, the value that you're going to, and this is using CSS3 when available on the back as well. So It's seamless to for you, the developer. You don't have to worry about browsers, vendors, specific prefixes, and yeah, just making your life simpler. Same fashion, the history API or the history module. What this does is it will let you tweak the back and forward button on the browser, so you can apply custom actions to the buttons. So imagine that you have some sort of built-in navigation control on your mobile app, and what you want is when the user hit the back button on the browser button, which is kind of like common now on Android devices, you have the actual physical keys to go back and forth. So what you want is just so it navigates within your app. So you can do this with using history. Again, just a little bit of a code example. It's pretty simple. All you need to do is instantiate the history object. You can pass in an initial state if you want. You don't have to. And then you can modify as you go with add and remove. Also, it will give you all these different events you can subscribe to detect interesting moments and to change if you have to. So pretty standard if you use YUI before on how we always publish all these events for you to tweak your application. So let me just show you a quick demo on this tab view on history. So in this case, let's say I've created this tab control, right? And by the way, all the examples I'm going to be showing off today are available on the YUI library, so you can just look on your own time or play around with it. But basically, let's say I have some sort of navigation like this, where it's gonna navigate through the content. So as I go, and if I want to go back, instead of going back to the previous page that I visited on the browser history, it's just gonna let me navigate through my little widget here. So again, pretty handy if you need to do something custom for your mobile application in terms of navigation. And I'm gonna be showing a demo at the end that kind of encapsulates everything into like a real live example. So just hold in there, hang in there. Okay, so now we're let me talk about events a little bit now, because I think this is pretty interesting. So events, we provide you a set of the regular events are available right now for all the devices out there, like touch move and touch start, and then all the iOS specific ones, gesture start and gesture change and whatnot. But on top of that, we also giving you a set of synthetic events you can subscribe to. So two of the most interesting ones are the flick event and the gestures. So let's say you wanna, you have something with media, right? Like a carousel with pictures or something, and you wanna be able just to swipe, like flick like that, and just like navigate. So YUI will give you this event called Flick. You can subscribe to and pass a set of different properties. And again, this is very highly customizable, and you can really achieve native look and feel if you just tweak with those settings a little bit. But then, I mean, it's pretty simple. You just pass in the distance and the velocity and whatnot, and then it will behave like a native app. If you want to have more control of what's happening on that Flick event, we also provide you events you can subscribe to detect when the gesture actually starts, and when it moves, and when the user lifted the finger of the mobile device, and then you can react to it and do whatever you need to do. So again, pretty highly customizable, and you can definitely achieve a lot of the native coolness with just using web. Let me show you a quick demo on the Flick stuff. I think I have it in the simulator somewhere. Okay, so in this case, we have this little list. You know, it's pretty common where you have on your mobile devices like a list view of items, right? And this is again all HTML, CSS, and YUI. And what you want to do is you want to present the user like a shortcut to be able to delete these items as the user navigates through the list. So just gonna have to use the mouse, but again, it works with your finger on touch events as well. But as you swipe to the left, we're presenting this delete button here, right here, and as you delete, then we're using transition to collapse all the list. So you know, it's not too fancy, but you get the idea. And you know, this opens the door to a lot of things on when you're thinking about creating your mobile application, and you know you're presented with specs or mocks and behavior. You can question do you really need to do it using native control when you can just do it using web, using YUI for example, and then it will just work across all your devices and don't have to maintain different code bases. So and the last widget I want to talk about before I go into the demos is the Scrollview widget. So the Scrollview, basically what it gives you is a scrollable content that reacts to swipe events or touch events. You can make it horizontal or vertically aligned, and then there's plugins to make it behave the way you want it and bouncy and whatnot. And like I said, I'll show you an example in a little bit. And how to use it is pretty simple. You just feed a bunch of, you know, some sort of markup that contains maybe images and some text, and then you instantiate the Scrollview object. And here you can just tell, okay, so I want my flick event to react at this minimum velocity, or the deceleration has to be this, or you know, I want to bounce this many pixels and whatnot. So again, really highly customizable. You can really achieve really good looking like apps and behaviors on that mimic like native with just web. And to the example, okay, so for the past couple of months or so, I've been working on this. This is a new Yahoo Local App that's gonna be on the App Store soon. It's just something. It's like a hyper local app. You can just find deals and things going on around where you are. So when we initially were presented the mocks and the specs, you know, like, you know, everyone was like, oh, it's obvious, you know, we have to write all of this in Objective-C. But then as we start going, we start realizing that everything could have just been done using web and YUI. And not only that, but when we decide to launch this into Android, we will have to do nothing, you know, we'll just work. I mean, granted, the navigation, it's native, but you know, that's the only piece that we'll have to write whenever we go to Android. So for example, this pull down to refresh event that you know, it's pretty common in this mobile app out there, we've been able to mimic using just web. Same with this guy right here, this little scroll widget where you can just swipe your fingers to see different movies going around your neighborhood. And we also, using CSS3 plus touch events, we kind of did this carousel that looks like iOS cover flow too. So again, you know, just using YUI3, all web components, highly scalable. So let me just show you a demo of the whole thing. By the way, there's been an earthquake, I guess. So in California, Central California. Anyways, so we have this weather widget right here. You know, you see the bounce? All of that is web using YUI. Same with this guy right here that I was talking about earlier for the movies. See, okay. So all of this just using web, using YUI scroll view, as well as this guy right here. And as we swipe, this thing changes, and all of this is just doing a plain new CSS3 class to the element and using YUI flick event. So, you get the idea. You don't really need to rely on a lot of native stuff. You can just use web to achieve and to get to this production level quality apps. That's a pull down to refresh to create your applications. And again, this should just work on Android. So development time, it's pretty fast. So just wrapping some thoughts, I know that YUI historically has a large amount of widgets in the desktop, and maybe some of you are wondering, okay, what happens to those widgets? When are those widgets going to be ported to mobile? So the answer is that we're working on a solution for that right now. We're trying to think how we want to create this skin, the skins for the widgets and the level of scale, so they're agnostic in terms of the device that you're running into and deploying into the different widgets. So again, we're working on it. We just want to make sure that we get it right. So keep an eye for 3.4 because we're gonna bring a lot of stuff for mobile. We're gonna be bringing a lot of the navigation controls that you saw that we had to do natively. We can probably just after 3.4 do it just using YUI as well. We're gonna bring widgets, we're gonna bring dialogues and overlays and things like that. So again, and YLS. So in the meantime though, if you are a YUI user and you have built something really cool that you like to contribute, then go to the gallery, because that's, it's open for everyone, and that's soon is gonna be the place where you will get all your widgets, even core. So again, please contribute to the gallery. It's free, open for everyone. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys, and I hope you learned something. And yeah, thank you.